February 10th, 2021. We're at the Hudson Yards, 34th Street's number 7 subway station, the western terminus of the number 7. Opened in 2015, this station. We're going to take a tour of the number 7 subway with its fleet of Kawasaki R188 cars. Yeah, this station is one of the deeper subway stations in Manhattan, if not the deepest. It's 125 feet below the street. Yeah, there are some subway stations around Washington Heights that are even deeper than that. But that's not mainly because of it being deep under the ground, it's that the ground rises up in Washington Heights. But there are stations like in Seoul, Korea, Moscow, Russia, that are twice as deep as this. Maybe even more than twice as deep as this. And here comes a train arriving from Flushing to end here. These are Kawasaki-built cars that replaced the R62 fleet. And we're now at Times Square, the original terminal of the number 7 until 2015. These are R188 cars built by Kawasaki, delivered between 2014 and 2018. Here at Times Square, you can connect to a lot of subway lines, as you can see. The NQRW is on the old BMT, the 123, and the S is on the old IRT. And you got to take a little long walk down a long corridor to get the ACE trains on the IND, the 8th Avenue subway. And you'll note the circular 7 symbol and the diamond-shaped 7 symbol. Circular ones are local trains to Flushing, and the diamond ones are express trains. And they're already starting to run express trains out to Flushing, and it's only 1:15 in the afternoon. The express trains, for a little while during the height of the Omicron pandemic, weren't running because there was a shortage of staff members. Well, here's a Flushing-bound local that just arrived. All these trains on the Flushing line are 11 cars long. That's all the platforms will hold. Between here and Grand Central, the 7 competes with the shuttle. Here comes a Hudson Yards bound train arriving Times Square. I don't think that's allowed down here. Well, here we have some of these R188s getting ready to go to 34th Street. And his next and last stop is 34th Street, Hudson Yards, as Patriot fans walks off. They didn't do too well against Buffalo. Comes a Flushing local, even though the sign says Express. Now we're at Fifth Avenue now, the next stop east. As you can see, this is the Fifth Avenue Bryant Park stop. Bryant Park is a nice little oasis in Midtown Manhattan, right on 42nd Street. Here at Fifth Avenue, you can connect to the 6th Avenue subway. Those are the B, D, F, and M trains. Well, here comes a Hudson Yards bound train coming into Fifth Avenue. Yeah, those R188s replaced the Bombardier R62A cars, which in turn replaced the Redbird R33 and R36 cars. And we got another Hudson Yards train right on its tail. Well, we're in that time envelope for the Flushing Express trains to run. And he's off to his next stop at Times Square. At the next stop, Grand Central, the last station in Manhattan for the number 7. So here comes a 34th Street Hudson Yards train, just completing his trip under the East River. It's a busy stop, lots of business here. Why not? You can connect to Metro North Railroad here at Grand Central Terminal. You can also connect to the 4, 5, and 6 Lexington Avenue subway trains and the S shuttle to Times Square. The train we're looking at is heading for Flushing. Right now they're skipping all the stops from 74th Street to Junction Boulevard due to some kind of maintenance until 3 o'clock. Grand Central is a wide open island platform station. This is something I can't resist. It's hitting the Irish in me. Incidentally, the St. Patrick's Day Parade in New York City is coming back this year after a 3-year absence. I will be there if the weather isn't too bad. And the AC traction motors of those R188s are competing with the lovely sound of the bagpipes. In case you didn't hear me upstairs with the bagpipes, March 17th, the St. Patrick's Day Parade in New York City is coming back after a 3-year absence. And like I said, if the weather isn't too bad, I will be there in force to listen to those bagpipes marching down 5th Avenue. Oh boy. Here at the next stop at Vernon Jackson Avenue in Long Island City, Queens. At this station, you can connect to the Long Island Railroad's Long Island City Station. I know at least one person who likes to use this station. Yes, until 3 p.m., all the Flushing-bound trains are sort of running like expresses. Between 74th Street and Willets Point, where the Mets play, they're skipping all the local stops. They're just making Junction Boulevard between 74th and Willets Point. But that'll change after 3 o'clock when they resume normal service.
Approaching the station, please stand away from the platform edge.
comes a Flushing Express. At least that's what the announcement said. But it's still got a circle. The next station east of Hunters Point Avenue, where the 7 train sees the light of day, almost to Flushing Main Street. Hunters Point Avenue station. This is where you can connect to the Long Island Railroad and their namesake train station, which is a terminus for diesel trains during the rush hour and some electrics. It's right next door. Well, here comes a 34th Hudson Yards bound train, heading down into the subterranean depths of the Hunters Point Avenue terminal, the rest of the way.
There is an Express 7 train to Flushing Main Street.
His next stop will be Court Square. This station is right alongside the Long Island Railroad's Hunters Point Avenue station, and I can hear one of their diesel trains moving about over there.
There is
also alongside of us is Line 2 tunnel approach to Penn Station.
Approaching the station, please stand away from the platform.
Now take a look at the railroad that's outside of the station. That fence is right before that. That's the Line 2 approach to Penn Station, and over there is the Hunters Point Avenue Long Island Station. A lot of trains pass by this spot. Right there is the Line 4 approach to Penn Station. It's just dropping down ahead into the tunnel. These are the storage tracks for the Long Island when the East Side access is open. They'll be storing a lot of trains there. First elevated stop, Court Square, Long Island City. A lot of fast-growing construction here, a lot of curves. You can connect to the E, M, and G train. The G is the crosstown train, the only main subway line that doesn't go into Manhattan. but you have to walk quite a distance to get to the E&M stop from here. That's on 23rd Eli Avenue in Long Island City, that stop. And views of the Manhattan skyline are easily seen from this stop. So here you transfer to the Egham. You can see all the built-up skyscrapers around this area. There's a Manhattan-bound train coming in. Bound train here. Now we're at the east end of the platform at Court Square. You'll notice the Flushing-bound track is rising up a bit. That's because the next stop, Queensborough Plaza, has two levels. The Flushing-bound trains are on the upper level, and the New York-bound trains are on the lower level. They also share with the subway train that goes up to Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria. Now you can see the air rights here. It's really changed a lot over the years. You know, a lot of people talk about subway crime in New York City, people getting pushed off tracks and things like that. Although I don't doubt that these things are happening, but they were happening when I was a kid even. And that was a long time ago. So, you know, it seems like the media is perpetuating this to make it seem like it happens everywhere all the time, and it doesn't. I would say 99% of the time you can get to where you want to go on the subway safely without any problem. You know, it's like anything else in life. You run a risk. I could walk down the street and get hit by a car. I could get struck by lightning. I could walk down the street in Manhattan and get hit by a falling plate of glass from a skyscraper. I mean, there's always that risk, but you can't worry about it. You'll go crazy. Just live your life and do your thing. Get a nice view of Manhattan looking here from this station. See the Chrysler building on the extreme left. Flushing bound train. Next stop, Queensborough Plaza. He's rising up to the upper level of that facility. This is a facet of the operation of the number 7. It's automatic, but there needs to be a motorman in the cab just to make sure there aren't any problems. Oh, here comes a Manhattan bound train into Court Square. Nice warm day today, a little breezy, but it's about 50 degrees. I'll take this in February. Now we're at the next stop at the busy Queensborough Plaza station. We're on the upper level where the Flushing bound trains are shared by the Astoria bound N and W trains. They use that track over there. Well, here comes an N train bound for Astoria. W train, and they use R46 cars on this line. Those are built in the 70s. Ancient, tired looking. That 7 train is off to Flushing. You'll note the wonderful views you get of Manhattan from here. You'll also notice a train heading into Manhattan downstairs, curving away from the lower level. We're at the east approach of the Queensboro Bridge here. Here comes a W train coming up out of the tunnel under the East River. His last stop was 59th Street in Manhattan. He's headed for Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria. landmark buildings in this area is JetBlue's headquarters. JetBlue's hub is at JFK, and an awful lot of planes fly out of there on that carrier. Here's a Flushing-bound train arriving. Looking east, you'll see the number 7 train head off. He'll be going over the Sunnyside Yard and the Amtrak and Long Island Railroad approach to Penn Station before he gets to the next stop. And this is where the N and W trains separate. They go off on a trestle to the left of here, up towards Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria. And here comes an N train bound for Astoria with some tired R46s. Negotiate the trestle. It's heading due north here. There's definitely a Flushing-bound express. Notice the diamond logo. It's after 3 o'clock, so operations are running normally now. Locals will make all the local stops, and the express will make the express stops. On the lower level of Queensborough Plaza station now, shared by the same 2 or 3 subway lines. It's a little more dreary down here. It's like in the basement. And here we have a train coming off the trestle from Astoria. Okay, next stop for this train will be 59th Street, Manhattan. Shortly after leaving here, he'll dive down into the East River Tunnel.
Bound local 7 train to 34th Street, Hudson Yards. Approaching the station, please.
Sorry, that's a Manhattan-bound 7 train.
Is Manhattan bound.
There's a Manhattan-bound 7. Sounds like the roof is going to cave in with these trains up above me. It's like a time machine in here from one side of the platform to the other. Number 7 train has all modern equipment built in the mid-20 teens with warning signs telling you when the train is coming. But the N and W don't have any of those signs, and they have equipment that's like almost 50 years old. And here we catch a W train leaving, heading off to Manhattan. Here we have a Manhattan 7 approaching the lower level of Queensborough Plaza.
Your safety is important to us. Please stand away from the platform edge, especially on tracks and leave the station.
Go to our next stop. We'll observe the train crossing over Sunnyside Yard and the Amtrak and Long Island Railroad main line into Penn Station. As we see this N train arriving across the platform here. The N and W line. There's the storage tracks for the Long Island Railroad for the East Side access. Loads of tracks. There's Sunnyside Yard here. A great view of trains parked there. There's the Long Island Railroad and Amtrak lines. Keystone train about to negotiate the loop. Okay, this is a local stop for the 7 train. This is where the express trains start to show their stuff. The next stop from Queensborough Plaza for the expresses is 61st Street Woodside. Let's get to see some of those going through here. The Manhattan-bound train leaving amidst the Long Island City skyscrapers. be a big school near this station. An awful lot of kids on the platform. Got to be a little extra vigilant here. Well, here comes an express train to Flushing. See that? There are a couple of kids running on the outside of the rear of the train. Oh my God. If there's an express closely behind the local out of Queensborough Plaza, he should easily beat him to Woodside. Here we have a Flushing local leaving 33rd. There's a lot of kids just poured onto the train. You can see some daredevil kids here too. What's interesting about the station on this line and a couple of others nearby is rather than have the open girder where you can drop right down to the street and you can see the street below with the openings between the ties, this has a solid concrete base where you can't see anything. And here comes another express train. As you can see, the Long Island City skyline towering above us. A Manhattan-bound train. All the express trains, after they leave Queensborough Plaza, they only make just a few stops. 61st Street Woodside, Junction Boulevard, Bullets Point, and of course Flushing. Beautiful February day. Here comes a Flushing bound local amid sirens. Notice the flashing green signal indicating proceed per cab signals. I believe that's what it means on the subways too. Busy street down there is indeed a busy street. It's Queens Boulevard, otherwise known as Route 25 or Jericho Turnpike or Middle Country Road. Once you get further east, it'll take you to Orient Point on the North Fork of Long Island eventually. We're at 40th Street Lowry now. New York bound. Impressive Long Island City panorama in the background. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have seen any of those buildings. The first building that cropped up in Long Island City that was reaching the stratosphere was the Citibank building, and many others have followed suit. We're at the next stop, 46th Street, Bliss, as we see an eastbound local rounding the curve here. Now, if somebody intended to ride to this stop and they were asleep or not paying attention, and they missed the stop and got off at the next stop, you could say that ignorance is bliss. Here comes an express and he'll be slowing down for this curve. Next stop is 61st Street Woodside for him. He'll pass by this next station up ahead, and then Woodside will approach. And here we have a westbound Manhattan-bound train. He just left 52nd Street in the distance.
34th Street, Hudson Yards. Approaching the station, please stand away from the platform edge.
The lighting here is just wonderful, fantastic. They're fleeting westbounds here, one after the other. Got an overtake coming. There's a local coming, but an express just ran around them at 40th Street. LED lights. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. Rush hour is just beginning. These trains are jammed. The importance of wearing a mask can't be any more emphasized. Now here we'll get a really fantastic view of a Flushing-bound local. And here we'll get a Manhattan-bound 7 heading into the twilight or sunset, whatever you want to call it, as another eastbound express approaches. Get a very nice view of Long Island City and the Manhattan skyline behind it. Yeah, lighting has gotten a little tough for eastbounds, but it's great for a westbound. Yeah, this trestle is shaking with every train. Using the barricade as a screen, it's actually nicely backlit here. It would also be great for an eastbound express train, but I'd be jammed on a local. Here comes an express. Both be arriving at the next stop at 61st Street about the same time.
Approaching the station, please stand.
Here I can get a much better shot of an eastbound local. The overhang of the platform blots out the sun. expresses catch up to the locals here, the way the schedule is set up. A New York bound train. In the spring I'm hoping to go to Chicago, and if I do, one of the things I want to explore is the CTA. I'd like to visit all the subway stations on the loop, and also some elevated lines north of Chicago that have 4 tracks. It's 5 o'clock now, and days are definitely getting longer. Now we're at a very important stop. 61st Street Woodside. You can connect with the Long Island Railroad. They have their own Woodside station, which is a very busy line through here. And we're looking down on the Long Island Railroad station here. A set of M9s has stopped here. And we got a westbound coming as well off the Port Washington branch on the left. No, I take it back. That's an M7 on the. That's track 4.
I was even gonna park today. I was even gonna go.
Right here is a great spot. We're at the west end of the 61st Street Station platform. Looking west, the trains seem to come down a slide. Both locals and expresses stop here. And we're in twilight now, and great dusk scene here. Woodside is an ethnic neighborhood, but it's primarily Irish. There are numerous Irish pubs in this area. One of my favorites is about 3 blocks west on 58th Street in Roosevelt, Donovan's Pub. As you can see, this is an express and local stop. The express is the next eastbound stop is Junction Boulevard. Looking to the east, the number 7 train is straight for a long distance. I can see numerous westbounds approaching one after the other. Got this westbound here. You got another westbound stopped at 69th Street, the next station east, and another one at 74th Street, the next station after that. Got a Flushing bound local coming in. And hot on his heels is an express. And you see passengers connecting off of the express for this local to go to local stops. Well, the local's next stop is 69th Street, but the express is Junction Boulevard. That's the 5th station east of here.
Manhattan-bound local
There's a New York-bound Long Island Railroad train below.
Hudson Yards.
Passing
Approaching the
the
station,
color light
please stand
signals.
away from the platform edge.
There goes an express. Next stop, Junction Boulevard. I see a lot of headlights out there. They're all stacked up. Almost every station has a westbound stop at it. Get a kick out of the roller coaster profile of this line. There's Long Island Railroad stopping eastbound. With a local stopping up here. Watch this local leave east. His next stop is 69th Street. Can't get any better train density anywhere in this country than here, between the Long Island Railroad and the subway here. And here comes another westbound local. He just left 69th Street, climbing up the hill to 61st Street. There's another local westbound approaching 69th Street behind them. Here comes an express. The next stop, 69th Street, Fisk Avenue. This is actually Little Manila. It's an ethnic neighborhood, but it's primarily Filipino. Has Filipino bakeries, Filipino grocery stores, Filipino restaurants, and parcel service to ship items to the Philippines. I know, my wife is from the Philippines, and we come here and do quite a bit of business. There's a grocery store right there, the Phil-Am Food Mark. Go there often. And that building there with the lights on is the Ihawan Filipino restaurant. I ate there last Saturday with my wife. One thing I like about this stop, it has a nice wide platform. As we got another westbound local coming. Not much distance between here and the next stop. Only 5 blocks. What a gorgeous twilight.
This is a Flushing Main Street bound 7 local train. The next stop is 74th Street, Broadway.
It's 5:35 p.m. and here comes an express. He just departed 61st Street. Next stop, Junction Boulevard.
Your safety is important to us. Please stay away from the off-road edge, especially when transiting at the station.
There's another eatery, Renee's Barbecue, Pampanga's Best. That's an area north of Manila. Supposedly, people from Pampanga are the best cooks in the Philippines. Well, my wife's a pretty good cook, and she's not from that part of the country. We got another westbound local stopped here at 69th Street. We're at the west end now. They're running almost as frequently as the eastbounds. Well, they got to get the equipment in there to load up to come back east again, I guess. And here comes an express just out of 61st Street. At 5:43, here comes another express. We're in the meat of the rush hour now, and they're running more frequently. The off hours, when they run, maybe every 10 to 15 minutes. We move further east to the 74th Street Broadway stop. Here you can connect to the E, F, M, and R trains. Oddly enough, It's a major connection to a subway, another subway line. It's not an express stop. Superb view of the skyline you get from here. Wow. And here comes another express with an incredible backdrop. Incredible. Fabulous. Coming in out of this unparalleled twilight. I don't think you could box a better twilight than this. And we got a westbound local departing as this eastbound is approaching. Not all of the Flushing-bound trains terminate at Main Street. Many go to Metz Willets Point. Well, I think the reason for that is so they can access the yard nearby. And we got another express coming for Flushing. I don't think I'm going to go too much further tonight. I have to continue this another day. On that elevated line north of the downtown Chicago, you have a number of CTA lines that use it. It's a 4-track main, the red line, the brown line, and the purple line. I have time to go to one more station tonight, 82nd Street. That's as far as I'm going to go. And this will be the last station we toured today on the number 7 subway. It's been a fascinating afternoon and evening. We'll continue this at a later date. There's just a few stations east of here. 90th Street, Junction Boulevard, 103rd Street, 111th Street, Metz Willets Point, and Flushing Main Street. And at the west end of the platform, you get a good look at that flashing green for the automated cab signals on the subway. Westbounds are running like every 3 minutes. There's another westbound.
train. The next stop is 74th Street.
Here comes an express. Clearly one of the more fascinating elevated subway lines on the New York City subway system. There are other lines that are busy or just as busy or busier, but they're underground. There are other lines that are top-notch that are elevated, but they don't have the local and express service the way this line does. There are lines in the Bronx that are definitely worth exploring, and the J train from Jamaica all the way into the Manhattan Bridge. Comes another local. And we hope to get a trifecta here. Got a westbound local stop right next to me. Got an express approaching with a local behind them.